Hey, this is Gary on. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has actually multiple negative implications for any supplier that I've seen happen a lot over the last 10 years, which is starting work too early before an actual contract is signed. We all know these situations when you're negotiating with procurement, things just drag on and on. You are going through multiple rounds of commercial negotiations, you're going through multiple rounds of negotiations about the contract, and at some point somebody maybe from your future client says, hey, maybe you can start hiring some people, maybe you can rent that space that you wanted to rent, so that the ramp up time once we sign that contract is going to be way shorter. And of course that's in the client's interest, but it can really expose you to huge risks. I've once negotiated a contract that never actually came to fruition. Over 2 years, we were looking to rent a space. We were going to store a lot of product in that space. So the supplier was investing a huge amount of time and resources into finding that space, and they wanted to figure out how to accommodate so that the product would cycle through that location very quickly. And then in the end, we were like, hey, this is a sure thing. This is going to happen. And we thought that as well. But then in the end, the CEO never signed off on the capital investment. So the supplier basically invested a lot of time and resources, their own resources, into getting that project. Not only from a sales perspective or from an engineering perspective, which is usually fine, you have to do that pre-work, but they also already signed some pre-contracts with some of the renters of space that could have happened, and so forth, without having a formal agreement. And I think this has to do a lot with expectation management. I think it's the best practice to tell your client when you're negotiating a contract what time you will need. Let's say today you're getting an official award, which could mean a PO or a contract. How much time do you need to actually be 100% operational? It's very, very important for a client to know that, because that way they might be a little bit disappointed, but they will probably get a similar response, let's be honest, from all the other suppliers as well. Um, but you need to communicate that. Many of your clients, you might notice, they're not the experts. You are the expert, and they really need you to show them what the implementation plan looks like. And that way, have also taken a lot of the burden off your own shoulders in doing these commitments that could actually ruin you, because it's opportunity cost, right? You're going to pursue something very heavily where you could maybe pursue something else. Then you might hire somebody who is then on your team. They're excited to get to work on that specific project, but then that project falls through. What are you going to do with them now? Maybe you have another project that is going on right now, but what is going to happen? And then, of course, these people that you're hiring, of course, they have good intention, but it lowers your reputation, actually harms your reputation big time. If you hire somebody for a project and it's not coming through, they will probably be talking to their friends about it as well. And that is going to hurt you in the long term, because these people will think, if they ever apply for a position with you again, and their friends and colleagues will do too. So don't make these mistakes um, when you're trying to get a contract and you want to really please your customer. Be very, very careful. Jeff Bezos made a good analogy about that one day that I really liked. You know, we're taking at Amazon, he said, they're taking decisions very quickly that are two-way decisions. You can take it basically back. Let's imagine you're walking through a door, you're walking through it. Can you walk back? That's the question that you should ask yourself. These decisions and that pre-work can actually be done, right? Before a contract is signed, right? If you can go through the door and come back. So maybe developing an action plan on what happens after nomination, from award to first day of being 100% operational. Of course, you can do that because you can make that plan, you can allocate some resources with the people that you already have to it. But then in the end, if that thing falls through, you're not getting the contract, that's okay. You wasted a couple of hours in doing that, but maybe you will be able to use that plan in the future somewhere else. Now, if you're thinking about um, the second example, which would be a door that you can only walk through once, but then you can never go back, that is a very, very substantial decision that shouldn't be taken too lightly, and it should never be taken before you're actually awarded with the contract. One of the examples is hiring personnel assigned specifically for that project. Um, if you're hiring 10 people and you don't even have a signed agreement, a PO, or anything, I would honestly ignore all of the promises that are maybe being made to you from your client until you have something that is signed in ink or a PO that you can draw from and get the actual funds. Money talks. I'm very sorry, but things fall through. People are sometimes very optimistic about when they want something. So let's talk about maybe the end user at a company. Procurement should never make these promises to you, but you might also have in the procurement process some contact with somebody from the technical area. And they might be very enthusiastic. They might really want to work with you. So they might maybe unknowingly overpromise something. And that can really, really hurt you if you're listening to them. Wait until the ink is dry before you take any of these decisions. It's so, so, so important. I can't emphasize this enough. Um, it's better to be pessimistic and hedge against these major losses. And then, as I said, create that plan of implementation. What happens after you're getting an award? That way, your client knows what to expect and you're taking a huge burden off of your shoulders. I hope that helps. And if you struggle with your client communication, when you're talking to larger clients and their procurement departments, or maybe you want to set up a procurement strategy for your own company as well, to save some money, please go to 21consulting.xyz and apply for a free consultation. Have a great day.